Not everything on Innistrad is a threat to your mortality. You'll have friends and allies, and the more varied they are, the better off you'll be. Grab your Coven and listen up. It's First Look, Innistrad, Midnight Hunt. Coven is a new ability word that's used to highlight abilities that somehow care if you control at least 3 creatures with different powers. Let's take a look at Candlelit Cavalry. Candlelit Cavalry has a triggered ability that triggers at the beginning of combat on your turn, but only if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers. So let's say your squad is Candlelit Cavalry, Stormrider Spirit, and Famished Foragers. That's a fairly odd trio, but their powers are 3, 4, and 5. That's 3 or more creatures with different powers, and Candlelit Cavalry will gain Trample. Triggered Coven abilities check the creatures you control twice. Once as the ability would trigger, just to make sure that it does, and then again as the ability tries to resolve. You'll need to control at least 3 creatures with different powers at both times for the ability to resolve successfully. Let's say in response to a Coven ability, like Candlelit Cavalry's, something happens to your creatures, such that you no longer control 3 or more creatures with different powers. Maybe you lose control of a creature, or the powers of your creatures change. If it doesn't pass that second check, the Coven ability won't resolve. In addition to triggered abilities, there are other kinds of abilities as well. For example, Candle Trap. It has an activated Coven ability. You can activate this ability only if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers. But once you activate the ability, it doesn't matter what happens to your creatures in response. Even if you lose them all or their powers all become equal, the ability will still do its thing. Coven also shows up on some instants and sorceries. Spells like Might of the Old Ways have an additional effect if you control at least 3 creatures with different powers. Now, Might of the Old Ways can be especially tricky, because the +2/+2 boost happens first, and then you check. Going back to our original trio, if you cast Might of the Old Ways targeting Stormrider Spirit, you won't draw a card, because now your Coven is broken up. But if you boost Candlelit Cavalry to a 7/7, your Coven is maintained, and you'll draw a card. Survival on Innistrad often boils down to keeping your friends close, and your enemies really far away. Good luck out there. Innistrad Midnight Hunt is available everywhere September 24th. Check out your local retailer or game store for more information.